Australian Bariatric Service Registry data published June 2002 suggests 15% of the primary bariatric surgeries done in Australia is a gastric bypass procedure. One anastomosis gastric bypass or omega loop gastric bypass accounts for half of them. In my practice, I started this operation in 2014 and I have performed over 1,000 of them. Over this period, I had the opportunity to evolve and refine the technique to minimize the chance of complications, and I'm very happy with where we stand today. Historically, the first ever performed gastric bypass was a one anastomosis gastric bypass carried out by Dr. Mason in 1966, known as Mason loop. This was abandoned due to intractable bile reflux. Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, which avoids bile reflux risk, diverting bile stream away, became more established over the next few years and later became the surgical standard. After the first gastric bypass performed by Alan Whitgrove in 1994, the exponential growth of bariatric surgery started. Laparoscopic Roux-en-Y gastric bypass is a technically challenging surgery with the potential risk of two bowel connections or anastomosis and a higher risk of internal hernia. In an attempt to make it simpler and safer, Dr. Rutledge developed the mini gastric bypass, also known as one anastomosis gastric bypass. His first operation was done in 1997. It was initially met with some skepticism, but since has rapidly grown in popularity and gained worldwide acceptance. In 2018, IFSO, or International Federation for the Surgery of Obesity and Metabolic Disorders, issued a position statement declaring one anastomosis gastric bypass as a mainstream bariatric operation. One anastomosis gastric bypass is a keyhole or a laparoscopic procedure to make a small stomach and to reduce the absorbing length of small bowel by 2 meters. First step of this operation is using a stapling device to create a long and narrow stomach tube in line with esophagus, disconnecting and excluding much larger rest of the stomach from the food stream. Operation is completed by joining the lower end of the newly created stomach tube to a loop of small bowel or jejunum counted 2 meters from the beginning, giving a 2-meter intestinal bypass. With one anastomosis gastric bypass anatomy, the small stomach leads to portion control or restriction. After passage through the small stomach tube, the food travels through the small bowel, skipping the first 2 meters of the intestine. This reduces the total intestinal length available for digestion and absorption down to 4 meters. However, the current understanding is the major effect contributing to the weight loss results after bariatric surgery is the correction of altered physiology, leading to defending a much lower fat mass set point after surgery. This is mediated by changes of gut hormones, nerve signals, and immune cell response. The end result is, number 1, decreased appetite drive, that is less hunger, early satiety and longer period of satiety, and less chance of comfort eating. Number 2, increased metabolism or thermogenesis, which is effective calorie burning, even better than intense exercise. As already mentioned, this is a simpler operation compared to Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. 1 instead of 2 anastomosis means less chance of anastomotic complications and minimal chance of internal hernia, with equal or better weight loss and metabolic outcomes. This operation also offers robust weight loss, durable over a long period. If there is need, it is easily reversible and easily revisable to another operation. Like other intestinal bypass procedures, OAGB offers weight loss independent metabolic benefits, particularly in favor of type 2 diabetes. Nutritional deficiency may occur after bariatric surgery. However, the good news is for those who follow the dietetic instructions, the risk is minimal or none. All it takes is being on a balanced diet, taking the daily vitamin and mineral supplements, and having annual blood tests to monitor the nutrition. Ulcerations at the junction between the stomach tube and the loop of intestine, called marginal ulcer, is a complication after gastric bypass operation. With technical refinement we have achieved over the years, we experience a very low risk of ulcer, about 2%. Main risk factors for marginal ulcer is smoking, use of anti-inflammatory medication, and Helicobacter infection. Bile reflux is a rare complication after OAGB. Close to 2% of individuals may require further anti-reflux operation to treat this, which generally leads to a good result. Dumping syndrome, postprandial hypoglycemia, and diarrhea occur in a small portion of people. After gastric bypass operation, endoscopic access to the bile duct is possible but not straightforward. Let me first tell you who is not a good candidate for one anastomosis gastric bypass. A current smoker or a significant history of smoking and need for use of anti-inflammatories make ulcer risk too high after this surgery. If someone is deemed unreliable for long-term use of daily nutritional supplements, they have too high a risk of nutritional deficiency. If you have a chronic reflux disease with Barrett's esophagus, potential added risk of cancer make it not suitable. If you are a type 2 diabetic, have a very high BMI, close to or above a BMI of 50, and you are considering revisional bariatric surgery requiring a stronger option, one anastomosis gastric bypass is a good choice. For anyone suitable for bariatric surgery who understands the risk and are happy to comply with post-surgery plan, this is a valid option. If you are considering gastric bypass surgery or simply like to have more information, please contact us at WA Weight Loss Center for an obligation-free consultation.